All right, Home Service Pros, welcome to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast, episode number 108. Today we have three special guests on the show, Michael, Erica, and Brian Duncan, running a family plumbing business in Waxahachie, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and really had a good conversation, all three of them. The two gentlemen have some pretty awesome ZZ Top beards. So sorry you don't get the video part and get to see that. I was pretty jealous. Mine's a tiny white goatee, and they had those nice long brown beards. Anyway, great information about running a family business, about flat rate pricing, leak detection, and drain cleaning leading to sewer jobs, and more. So I'm sure you get a kick out of it and some education, hopefully, as well. And also they talked about using a CRM and software and flat rate pricing. So I think there's a little tidbits out there for everybody. So without further ado, Duncan Plumbing, Waxahachie, Texas. Some 300 plus reviews, 4.9 star rating. They produce quality service, care about the customer and the community. They also do some great community outreach and stuff. So I think you can learn something from that as well. Anyway, without further ado, Erica Bryan and Michael Duncan of Duncan Plumbing.
Welcome to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast for Contractors. Get actionable advice and tactics on how to grow your home service company. Plus interviews with industry experts dropping value bombs in marketing, sales, and operations. And now, let's power up your home service biz with your host, Mark Ambrose of Battle Plan Marketing.
All right. Welcome to the podcast. We have Michael, Erica, and Brian on board with us from Duncan Plumbing out of Waxahachie. Welcome to the show, all three of you.
Thank you.
Hi.
So obviously a family business. Husband, wife, and brother. Brian, yes?
And sister-in-law.
And sister.
And sister-in-law, my bad.
She's sitting on the computer.
There you go. Yeah, she's the IT. I saw the great IT history there with Erica, so that's a perfect fit.
Amanda's sitting behind you, so.
And Amanda?
Amanda, you come in and say hi. You come in and say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Real good. Also in the family, or?
That's my wife.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. I love it, man. That's great. Family business. Beautiful to see. Hard to keep going sometimes. So my hat's off to you.
Only one fight this morning.
That keeps the mojo going. All right, let's dive right in. So tell us what you do, who you do it for, and where you do it.
What we do, we're a mom and pop service company in plumbing service company in Waxahachie. Like Erica said earlier, we're south of Dallas. We're a suburb of Dallas. We are mostly residential, so we're taking care of 90% of our business is homeowners. And then on the commercial side, we do some light industrial and then a lot of the other small businesses around Waxahachie. And not just Waxahachie, Ellis County, Waxahachie and all the surrounding towns around us. What we do, who we do, and what was...
And where, well, you said where you do it, so yeah. Are there parts of the plumbing world that you guys specialize in, like a leak detection? I saw on your site you do slab leak detection, so that's already more than a lot of plumbers out there. So let's talk about that initially, because that's a big profit center for a lot of plumbers that maybe they're ignoring today, right? So you got a lot of slabs out there. Walk us through slab leaks. Do you get into the insurance side of that? You get them involved? Do you get into the mitigation part of it at all? Or
we mostly leave that to the homeowner to deal with their insurance. We provide them with whatever they need to address the insurance company as far as their policy and whatever they need to give them. So what we do is we'll come in. There's an isolation process from the meter to the house, from the house beyond, hot water, cold water. We'll determine whether it's hot or cold in the yard or under the house. And then at that point, our biggest thing is to always give options. There's multiple options to address a slab leak, whether it's detecting directly under the slab for a direct repair, or now with these older homes, which in layman's terms would be jackhammering. Correct.
Right. Tearing up the floor, going in.
Yes. Which now, because the age of the town that we live in, Waxahachie's been around since how old is this town?
No kidding.
It was big on the cotton route. It was like the stop before they went to Houston, before they went on and delivered cotton back in the 1800s. So, yeah, I think it was really big. It became a town and incorporated in the later 1800s.
So the majority,
old properties.
Historic homes. They call it the gingerbread capital.
Yes. The houses are actually older than the plumbing itself in some areas. So when plumbing first started coming into these houses, it's still the original plumbing. So now the option is a lot of rerouting where we abandon everything under the foundation, rerouting everything overhead with new water lines when it comes to slab leaks.
Nice. And you give them a plumber's report to try to get that paid by insurance, or?
We give them the options. Absolutely. We give them the options and then basically leave it up to the insurance and the homeowner to decide on what the best route of attack is.
And are you charging for the detection as well, leak detection?
We do. We have a flat rate pricing. Erica, you might be able to explain that a little bit better as far as the pricing. It's a flat. So, okay, we do have multiple options. A flat rate, we do $350 for a leak locate. I think it's like around $350.
That's about our area also. Yeah.
Yeah, for a leak locate, and that's kind of diagnosing with the locate also.
Nice. Do you guys use specialized tools for? So once you locate the leak and then you get approval to cap it and let's say reroute it, are you using some tool to find the next manifold once you find the leaking pipe?
We use, on that, it's still kind of the old school. I say old school. It's the only method I really know is to the geophones, listening to the slab. A lot of times it can direct us to the manifold, but we've got a lot of money in the newest, latest, greatest tools, but we're still using air and listening to the slab to detect these leaks.
I see. So you are using the wand and the headphones and you're listening for, cool. I saw one of our local plumbers, there's a company out there called, I don't know what he calls it actually, his company, but the product is called SureTrack, I think. And it's pretty cool. It's like some guys throw fish tape down the pipe and try to bang it up against the next manifold. So this is like the same thing, but at the very tip, there's a vibrating tool. And so you plug it in and you push the tape all the way till it stops. Mm-hmm. And then you plug it in and it vibrates. And so you can walk around the house and quickly find where that next manifold is, where it is in the wall. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. We're always learning new technology. Now, I've known about the fish tape trick forever, but I'm interested to look into that tool.
Yeah. Well, the listening thing is just as reliable, but this is the fish tape or the vibrating thing lets it be a one-man job. Like you don't need that second guy to go or girl to go on the other side and try to find that when you're like a fish tape where you tap, tap, tap. You need somebody over on the other side to find it, right? So that's awesome. So you do a lot of slab work?
Yeah. And I guess I hesitate to say that because we go through spells. Tomorrow we could just be hit out of the blue with just tons and tons of water heaters leaking, but it's like everything's seasonal and comes in spells. But I mean, I would say during the pandemic, even I would say that it was just back to back to back slab leaks. And we were that's all we did for a while. But we definitely specialize in it.
That's nice revenue, right? The reroutes per job is a good job cost right there.
Oh, yeah.
How about, so the mitigation, do you refer that out? Like, do you get a finder's fee or referral fee or do you get involved in that part at all? Or
can you ask that again?
So I'm sorry, on the water damage mitigation. So let's say it was like a second floor leak or something, and now the place is semi-destroyed. Do you guys refer them to a restoration or mitigation company to tear all that out, the wet materials and stuff like that?
There's a few local places that we do refer out, and it's not just mitigation as far as damages. Other trades like electrical, HVAC, other family businesses that we work with that we refer out.
That's great.
We've kind of and so we always they'll pull us over on the side of the road, see our trucks or whatever, and we get hit by these flood restoration companies, handful of cards. We'll give you a finder's fee. By the time we're able to use those cards, those the companies that have the finder's fee in our area, I've noticed that when it's they're already gone. So we're not doing it for the finder's fee. We want our customers we want to send them to the guy down the street who's been in business in Waxahachie, hometown.
And these are referrals that we give out of the same trades and same guys that we have in our houses and in our business. Just some random person that we just say, hey, Google these guys, call them up. It's people that we actually use also.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because your reputation's online of who you refer to. And so that's a good lesson for the plumbers out there, too, is there's a lot of money in the restoration side of that water leak world. And there's a lot of fly-by-night guys who come out. And it's also hard to market. Like the people don't search Google for water damage restoration. They usually will get that contact from their plumber. Mm-hmm. And so the smart guys are always contacting plumbers like crazy. So, yeah, you have to be careful on if you decide to refer one of those guys out, that they do serious quality work, because that's finished work and everything, right? So when time they're done, that house needs to look really, really good. So, yeah, you're wise to be cautious. But I like that you do that. I see a lot of guys that we talk to, they only do the locate and cap, and then they walk away, and they're leaving that reroute for somebody else to do. And so we try to let them know that, hey, there's business out there to be had. The other thing I see on your site that you guys do, which is also like opens up for additional bigger jobs, is video inspections of sewer lines, right? So talk about that a little bit. What makes you go into people ask for that video inspection, or it starts with a clogged drain?
They'll see that it's either listed on our van or on our website, or we'll show up. I've kind of gotten to the habit of all the guys. I make sure when we go to any stoppage, any clogged drain, take a camera with you, because it does no justice if it's sitting here in the shop. So either way, people nowadays, because the housing market is booming, a lot of sellers or a lot of buyers are wanting a video inspection of their sewer.
Oh, good to hear.
A lot of reasons why they call for the camera inspection.
Yeah, that's a good to hear, actually, Brian. We have a customer, plumbing client, who went to the Chamber of Commerce to speak to them about his services. And one of the ladies there had just bought a house, did not do a camera inspection. She has a $40,000 sewer line repair.
I've ran into that in the past couple of weeks, at least 2 or 3 times.
Wow. So that's so crazy, right? So these real estate agents out there need to know that home inspector, that's not enough, especially for plumbing. Like it might be enough for most other things, maybe. The roof might be another problem, but the sewer line's down below, nobody knows, and you got to get that inspected. It's not going to be covered by insurance later, more than likely. So nothing worse than buying a house and finding you got a serious sewer line problem. So so that becomes a lucrative job for you, right? Just naturally occurring. You go out, unclog the drain. Some of those lead to drain repairs or sewer line repairs. Right?
Yeah. So I if we've got a history of the same customer, he's called 2 or 3 times a year with the same issue. That's when we'll kind of push them to do the camera inspection. Or if they just bought the house and they don't have any experience with the house, we'll offer a camera inspection. And then it turns into, you've got more issues than just using too much toilet paper or whatever the issue is. Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty smart after several clogs to talk to them about inspecting that whole line. So then do you do liner replacements, or do you pipe burst and pull in a new pipe? We haven't
gotten into that. A lot of those, I don't even know if there's a lot of places around the DFW area that do it.
There's a few big companies in Dallas-Fort Worth area that are doing it. Like I said, they're the larger companies. What I've ran into with customers, and I don't, like I said, we don't do it. So I do throw that out there as an option for the customer. Let them know we don't do it, and I'll kind of do some research on the company and throw them a handful of names with letting them know, hey, I don't know anything about this company, but it's worth looking at for an option. I have not, and I'm not saying I don't know enough about it. I'm not saying I'm not against it or for it. I've read up on it quite a bit, but most of the time I see our customers come back and go our route. So I believe it's probably a cost issue is the only thing I can think of. I've got some opinions on it, but with knowing that other plumbers are listening, probably, maybe, I'll bite my tongue on that one.
Okay, that's good. No, I didn't know there was like a quality issue out there. So you guys prefer, I'm getting, and correct me if I'm wrong, to wherever possible to dig up the line and replace the whole line.
Yes, we try to either excavate under a foundation or out in the yard, expose it, replace it.
I see.
The last resort, we always try to push for that. We try to avoid going through the foundation because I don't want to do any more interior damage than we have to. You can put enough plastic down and block the AC vents and all that, but on top of the damage from the vibration of the walls, pictures, and everything, I try to avoid going through a foundation myself. Going under the foundation to me is the way to go.
I see. Yeah, without a doubt. And specialized equipment to that, right? So, yeah. And same with the, like, pulling a liner through. So, yeah, I always wondered about that too, right? You have cracked pipe. So is that pipe like slicing into the liner? And does that liner eventually start leaking? And is that something that happens?
Well, I have been told, and I haven't witnessed it, and we haven't ran across where we've been able to. I'd like to, just for research purposes, find somebody locally with a liner just to look at it with the camera. But what I have been told, so you've got this new line, but it's always possible somebody can put something down your drain and you still could have to stop. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas, a lot of family, still stop up the line. And with that said, I've been told that if we were to come out and run our drain cleaning machines, that can nick up the liner.
Right. Hydrojetting and stuff like that, right? So how do those liners stand up to hydrojetting? That's a good question. I didn't even think of that before. In fact, so you're the first ones to bring up maybe there's a quality issue with the liner. And now that you analyze that in your head a little bit, yeah, I could see that. Especially if we have like a compression in the pipe somewhere, right? So now we got just a natural less volume that can pass through that little spot, right? Plus that liner will have to be opened up, right? Where they inject air in that or something to open it up before it hardens, right? So if they don't do that properly, then you also have some small areas maybe where it's a smaller diameter, so on and so forth.
Right.
So yeah, the hydrojetting, that's a big part of it, actually. You won't be able to, or you may not be able to hydrojet in the future, or it might tear up your liner or something, because those hydrojets are pretty damn powerful, right?
Well, the hydrojets are powerful, and then the sewer cable or the sewer snake, as most call it, that we've got root heads, we've got arrowhead-shaped heads. I mean, this is sharp metal, so that's making its way around in there like a blade just cutting on. And I don't know. It's made by Charlotte, which is the leader in the PVC industry. So I have to imagine it's probably the best product, but I don't know that it holds up like PVC.
Yeah, that's good.
Someone probably correct me on that.
Maybe I'll try and get somebody from the liner industry in here to defend themselves and others to combat it. We'll get both sides of that issue. I like it.
I'm open to listen.
I like it. Well, that equipment's not cheap either, right? Like pipe bursting equipment and pulling liners through and all that stuff. None of that is inexpensive equipment. So the old-fashioned way is often the best way still, right?
I think so.
That's good. That's good. Now, I see, like you guys mentioned on your website, drinking fountain repair service. So that caught my eye. So do you do like schools and things like that, or where's that coming from?
Well,
city parks?
Brian's got a drinking fountain back there ready to be installed. So I'll let him.
No kidding. So for commercial businesses, or where's that coming into play?
Today we're actually going to a local school. It's a Christian academy that we're going to install. They wanted to upgrade all their drinking fountains. So we ordered some water coolers with bottle fillers in them to replace the existing ones.
Brilliant.
So installation, I guess, and like repairs. The repairs are like any other appliance or any other fixture. You just have to kind of diagnose to see what the issue is to even be able to repair it.
9 times out of 10, it's a simple solenoid valve. But as far as drinking fountains goes, COVID has really boosted converting drinking fountains to bottle fillers. We've been seeing
really? Oh, because of the public touching the fountain over and over again.
Right.
I see. So converting to what? I'm sorry?
A bottle filler.
A bottle filler. Oh, like the big 5-gallon bucket, and you put in the coins and.
No, you actually, it's the drinking fountain, but you just
It's got a little
You can
bottle.
hold it. It's
so
like a touchless filler where you can just hold
Oh,
it.
yeah?
You refill your plastic bottle because
One glass at a time.
Yep.
you're putting your mouth down on that yucky,
Bubbler.
yeah,
It's called
they
a
call
bubbler.
it the bubbler. You know,
Bubbler.
people over and over, not just touching, but even I noticed that our kids' school, even after the whole COVID thing had passed, they still kept them covered with plastic because
Oh, wow.
sanitary factor. So those bottle fillers, you just stick your bottle under there, and you're using your own bottle.
If you can imagine I'd say maybe call it an appliance, I guess, and it's got plumbing into it. It's about it's the exact width of your current drinking fountain and about close to the same height. It'll stack on top of your fountain and then it gets replumbed. If you're going to go with, say you have an Oasis brand drinking fountain, you're going to find the Oasis brand bottle filler that goes with that, and then you're going to replumb everything.
Brilliant. So you keep the existing unit kind of in place and you just extend the plumbing up into the bottle filler.
Yeah, if it's not too old, if the unit's compatible.
Man, I really like that. That's a great idea out there. So your customers are schools. Would it be offices also, commercial offices and things like that?
Local fire departments.
Oh, wow.
We've done some water cooler repairs for
the city of Waxahachie.
We do a lot of work around the city of Waxahachie, Ellis County itself.
Schools,
a lot of local restaurants.
Oh, wow.
And then we've got some factories here. Dart Containers, I'll throw in a plug. They make our styrofoam. You're probably getting the same styrofoam out there, but Dart's one of our customers, U.S. Aluminum.
I see. So what, they have the styrofoam cups near the bottle filler so you can grab a cup and have a cup of water? Or?
Oh, no. No, I guess I crossed over there. That's one of
My bad.
The styrofoam plant's one of our customers. Kind of
I see. I got you. I got to tip my hat, guys. I mean, I haven't heard that. I've interviewed a lot of plumbers, talked to a lot of them separately offline, and nobody has brought that up, and I kind of like it a lot. Brilliant. And a good, maybe a door opener to get into some of these commercial businesses and schools, and right?
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
I like that. Is there good money in that, or like any filtration systems that get added to these things? Or is optional or something?
So we do have that option on these because of the access and the cavity of the water coolers. There's not a whole lot that we can add into there.
I see.
But we do offer, when it comes to residential, I don't think we've done anything on the commercial side, but we do offer whole house filtration systems for residential.
Nice.
Do
you have hard water problems out there too? Like, do you do softeners or?
Not so much. And I never understood coming from Indiana. That's where I started my plumbing career. I saw a lot of water softeners, but they're really pushing them down here. Our suppliers, some of our suppliers are pushing them, but occasionally we see them and install them, but we don't see hard water problems as much as bad water.
I see. So you need water filtration, but you don't have hard water tearing up your appliances and plumbing and stuff. So they're not really needed.
Right.
They're being marketed basically and sold, but to unneeded recipients.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that come from out of town, a few from Washington, a few from California. And I think we've had a few from the New York area on the East Coast that they complain about the hard water because they're so used to the water that they have out there.
I see.
For us, we've just been around it for so long that the hard water itself doesn't bother us, but the water quality is what bothers me for being.
Yeah. And all the horrific reports in the last few years of water systems, I don't trust the municipal systems at all. So, so whole house filtration, you do a lot of whole house systems or RO at the sink kind of?
Not so. I mean, we do RO at the sink. I'm not a huge fan of it because there's always issues in the fact that and I think I might be shooting myself in the foot because Brian knows a little bit more about the whole house filter, but the ROs seem to just be constantly dumping water usage.
They use a lot. Some of them are really bad at it. Yeah.
And the customer originally want the RO system. We install it. Then we get a call about a month later. Hey, I can constantly hear water dumping in my drain. And
usage and the sound. That's true. But you're right. A good one, I think, will use 2 gallons to make 1 gallon of water.
Yeah.
And so you got a gallon of waste. Some of the bad ones are like 10 to 1 or something. So yeah, it could be super bad. So you're probably right. A whole house. Plus, you're still showering and bathing and in your other bathrooms, right? So you want filtered water.
Brian and Erica are a little bit more, because we do install the large whole house systems that we've even filtered an entire ranch where they're filtering the water that goes to the cattle. They're filtering their irrigation, their whole house. Brian,
wow.
A little bit more.
That's a big system. Yeah. Do you have a lot of well water systems out there, like out in the rural, or is there a rural area nearby you, or it's all pretty much developed?
I would say this is a rural area, but it's developing like crazy. To answer your question, the people that we run into that have wells, most of them are using it for irrigation.
Oh, I see. Not for the house.
Right. When I first moved here, I worked for a company where we did well work, and I saw a lot more wells. But it's funny you asked that. I was responding to a text right before we got on with you. A friend of mine, I had to steer him to one of my old bosses for some well work. So there's obviously still a few, but we don't see it a whole lot for, I guess, potable water purposes.
Gotcha. Yeah, the suburbs are creeping everywhere, right? So taking over, and then with it comes community water. At least they're new pipes, I guess, and not 50-year-old pipes leaching lead into your drinking system or whatever, right? So what would you say is your favorite thing to do out? What about all your services? What do you guys like doing the most? Who's your favorite kind of customer or favorite job? What do you like doing?
Any customer.
I think Brian and I are going to have two totally different opinions there. I'd like to go first. I like gas work. I like running gas pipe. Systems. Okay, we're on the same page.
And that's what, for like new boilers and stuff mostly, or?
That's for any fuel that's ran to homes or businesses, gas, the entire system throughout the house, a house that would use all gas for their energy, stoves, water heater, furnaces. And then if you get into the restaurant or the commercial side, whatever that company's doing, a restaurant needs gas for obviously cooking and water heating. But
gotcha. So are you guys doing like some new construction then? And is that where a lot of the gas line work is coming from, or?
It's just old gas lines.
Oh, really? Just replacing lines?
Yeah, well, our shop is, and then my wife and I live in the historic part of town, but Waxahachie, I'd say it's grown so much that at one time it was about 50-50 historic to new homes, but
wow,
these historic homes, like Brian was talking earlier, and I don't think the gas lines are as old as probably the water and sewer he was talking about. But anyway, we come across the gas leak, and a lot of times you start messing with that pipe, taking it apart, and the system's so old, it's just going to cause leaks down.
Wow, just from moving the pipe a little bit.
Right. Brittle pipe, old joints. So we find ourselves going to the customer and saying, hey, we get to a point where we decide, hey, it's going to cost more to make a few repairs than it will be to replace the entire gas system. So
wow.
We kind of decided a few years back, our niche was really on the service side, new construction. I started out new construction. Brian had a longer career in new construction, but we both came back to the service side. It's kind of our niche, and we didn't feel like it was a good fit for us to take on both new construction and service.
Yeah, they're both different, and in my opinion, you guys are very wise because the new construction is economically cyclical, right? It's going to severe ups, severe downs. Once the game's over. They stop building entirely, and then your business is in trouble, right? So, and yet for plumbing or electrical or maybe even roofing, that service is needed all the time. You guys keep our houses and businesses running, and we're flipping on the light switches, we're turning on the water faucets every single day. So the gas starts with a leak then, the pipe, repiping. It's sort of like a water leak, slab leak.
Yeah.
You're getting called out on a leak. Then you're finding out that the pipe is old and brittle and dangerous. Mm-hmm. And that's where you're getting most of your, what do you call those gas repipes? What do you guys call those things?
Gas repipe.
Yeah.
we'll get other calls. People like my wife. Some people just prefer gas. Some people buy an all-electric house, and people like my wife that like to cook and are specific about wanting to cook on a gas stove. Somebody will buy a new house, and we'll come in, and they'll want gas ran so they can switch out their appliances.
I see. So they had electric, and now they want to switch out to gas.
Yeah.
And the gas is run to the property? They have like a meter and all that usually already?
Depends on what the area is. A lot of these areas that don't have access to natural gas, here in Texas, we use Atmos. Well, in this area, we use Atmos. So if there's not natural gas, the other option is propane. So I have to get a company that can deliver the tank and then fill the tank for propane for us to be able to tie into.
Oh, that's cool. So they have an option, even if they're not plumbed already to their street or their property. They have a relatively low, that's got to be a lot lower than trying to get the gas company to pipe to your house, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Especially when you get out of the street. It's not happening.
Nice. Yeah, it's not happening. Exactly. Gas company looking at you like you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or for the right money, they'll do anything, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk marketing, since, that's kind of our thing here. So what kind of marketing or advertising you guys do, and what's proved?
We're going to scoot over because Erica's got a lot to talk about.
Oh, there we go. She's our marketing queen.
Well, that was her career before she came on board with us. So.
Oh, cool. Let's talk about that. What's your background there? I saw IT background, Erica, so tell.
It's IT only because it's so weird. That's the best. My background, I actually have a degree in biology, and I minored in chemistry. And I went to work for an information company to do their chemistry, to do their organic chemical, their equations and who's using what around the world. And so it's strange. But they sent me to Amsterdam, my third month on the job.
Nice. And you survived and made it back.
I made it back and ended up doing a lot of that. That's what I ended up doing, was moving into sales and doing their chemical and pharmaceutical shows. And so, I did a lot of background. And it started in the 90s. I can remember when what we did was that dial-up, doo-doo.
Oh, yeah. The modems. Yeah.
And we were always pretty cutting edge with regards to information and technology. And so we had these different databases, and we were always growing and moving and marketing. And so somehow that I just kind of gravitated towards that, and sat through many sales trainings, went to many sales trainings, got interested in marketing. And we had, our stuff was web-based. We were a subscription to sales or SaaS model. So
oh, cool.
We did a lot of web stuff. And so I'd always sit in on those meetings, and because I was with the company 20 years. So when we'd get acquired or sold, I was that person who'd been there from the start. So
I see.
I'd listen in and just got kind of interested. So it's really crazy. In the last acquisition, Michael started the business in 2011, and I just kind of helped with the website and stuff and was sort of silent, and Michael and Brian started it. And then in 2017, we had our last acquisition, and I didn't make it. No one made it, actually. Nobody was.
Oh, they got rid of everybody.
Everybody got, and they took everything they took it all overseas. So.
Of course they did.
Yeah. So it ended up in London, and I kind of kicking and screaming came to work for Duncan. And
kicking and screaming.
No, I thought that wasn't going to be the thing. I was like, no. And it took about a year. And I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this 100%. And it has really been Michael's perfect in his role. Brian's perfect in his role. Amanda's perfect in her role. And we all need each other.
That's beautiful.
Our personalities are super different, but the business, you couldn't have asked for a better field operations manager, CEO. He's so smart with everything plumbing. And so, so for the marketing, and we're learning, and who understands Google SEO?
No, it's so changing every single day. Yeah, it's really hard to stay on top of, actually. So kudos to you for sitting in on all those meetings and seeing a new horizon for yourself there.
We try here. I mean, I think we're pretty good for a small town plumbing company. I mean, I wouldn't pretend to understand. I don't have a degree in marketing. Amanda doesn't. We kind of learn the hard way and try stuff and see what works. And
oh, I like that. Track stuff. You hear that, audience? They track stuff. It's amazing. If I lined up 50 companies, 45 of them or 40 of them not tracking their advertising. They don't know what's working, what's not. They're just spending money.
Yeah.
Not good. You got to identify where to put more gasoline on the fire and what's not cooking, where to stop. So good for you. The site looks good. You got a lot of good messaging on it. I love that you got blog posts. You got a lot of blog posts. So you're active. That's how you're going to get your traffic. You're going to do that with informational blog posts, not with putting up a brochure on a website. That's not going to attract anybody. You're not going to get ranking for that. So kudos to you. And for the commitment to great service, I will have mentioned in the intro, but 300 plus Google reviews, 4.9 star rating. First and foremost, it's about taking care of the customer and providing quality service, right? Obviously, you're doing that. That's how my team found you. We only look for highly rated companies. So kudos to you there.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. And yeah, we can market all day long, but really, if we didn't really care about the customer, seriously, you talk about Google reviews, we'll have a million people. We've had people bring us cupcakes, bring us cards, just do tacos, bring us breakfast. But you get one unhappy one, and we're all taking it home. We're all, what could we have done differently?
Right.
It will derail us.
It leads to company meetings. And
right.
What could we have done? Because we do care. And that's really, I think it's word of mouth still.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like advertising long term. If that's a company's business model, you're going to die because you don't have control. Google's an auction marketplace. Facebook is. Wherever you're doing radio, TV, it's not in your control.
Yeah.
So you have to. So again, it starts with quality service, dedication to the customer. You grow your word of mouth. And now you hopefully market to your existing customers kind of semi-regularly and keep getting business from them, right? We spend a lot of money to acquire a customer, and a lot of companies just, once they serve them, they forget them. So talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind. Do you do any kind of remarketing back to old customers? I remember Brian was talking about, if we see you got a couple of clogs, now we're going to talk about maybe doing a camera inspection. So it sounds like you're definitely staying connected.
So we do, but I think what works better is, and we do that, right? We are always we want the customer to be well taken care of, and that means checking everything. But more than that, we feel that we have been so blessed in our location, in just all of us finding our niche, being so blessed that we could work together and have fun at it and be with our family and provide for our families. We try every quarter to do something to give back to the community. So,
oh, nice.
The first thing that we did is there's a food pantry across the street, and we thought,
beautiful.
We have this super awesome location. So we did a combination where we had Santa Claus, who happened to also be a radio host, a kind of cool personality. He was Santa, and we did a food drive benefiting the food pantry across the street.
Beautiful.
And that was so much, it was so fun. And so we were able to market that to our existing customers. Also, the drive-by, folks came by and took their picture with Santa with their kids. And then we just asked for a can of food. So we did that. And then the next quarter, we did a benefit for a diaper drive it's called First Look, and it provides ultrasounds to unwed moms so they can see so we did that, and that was a great hit. One of the HEB is our local grocery store. We partnered with them and had a focus on their HEB brand diapers, because that's actually what First Look prefers for their moms. And so we did a diaper drive here, and we were able to give back, also giving some donations from the community and then from Duncan Plumbing as well. So we try to do a little thing like that, and
I love it.
It works.
Sure. That's the best kind, community involvement. Nothing better than that, right? And it's from the heart. So you're not doing it really for marketing. You're giving back to your community. You feel lucky that you're in a community that's grown, your business has grown along with it, so you give back to the community. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's really the most genuine, and it feels good, and it makes us happy, and for a day, we're just not even thinking about plumbing. We're people in, and then everybody benefits. Like, it's just a kind of a 3-4 pronged approach where everybody, it gets the word out about the food pantry or the first look or whoever we're decide to benefit. But we try to do that once a quarter, and otherwise we really just kind of leave customers alone. We wouldn't email blast them or share their information or anything like that. We just sit back and
I think we have a pretty good, I don't know if history is that we're pretty good about, or maybe this is just the way, and you might need to edit this and chop it up a little, but kind of the route we take with our customers is that we usually try to find the problem and give them options, but we try to wrap everything up in a time period so that there aren't callbacks on this, or there's not reoccurring solutions. Brian, you and Brian talked about the scenario of the customer that 1, 2, 3 sewer drains or sewer cleanings, and then we start talking about going a different route. But we find these customers that have these old houses that are okay with, I know I have to get my cast iron drains cleaned out once a year, sometimes twice a year. But as far as I kind of have the mindset, or I like the idea of being able to kind of wrap everything up in a package so that they are good to go, hopefully. And I think we have a pretty good record of repeat customers, but hopefully they won't need us for that problem ever again.
Gotcha. Do the job right the first time.
Right.
Don't be afraid to give them bad news if the job's a little bigger than they thought, so you get the whole thing done correctly. Right. So now you have a valued customer who trusts you. They know you got the job done.
Right.
So yeah. Satisfied customers, right? Happy customers lead to long-term business.
Right.
I will say that every 3 or 4 months, it is not a bad idea to reach out, send an email out or something, give them an offer or something. Because there are some people who maybe forgot how to reach you or whatever. You never know. There's always a small percentage. So good to stay connected. But again, it starts with great work, quality work, trusted work. I love your community outreach and all that involvement. That's beautiful. You're getting free PR, so to speak, doing that kind of stuff. So that's beautiful. So it sounds like maybe you guys are using a CRM, any kind of software that you use that helps your business, you think?
Yeah, I come from Salesforce. And then before that, we had all those different CRMs throughout the years. But QuickBooks, I think, like everybody else. And then we use what's called Profit Rhino.
Oh, yeah. Like a flat rate pricing thing, right?
Yeah, flat rate pricing.
That's a great system, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at Service Titan. We've heard a lot of good things.
Super. If you go Service Titan, so we have a couple clients on it, and it has the capability to be amazing, but expect to invest a good year into tweaking it. Oh. And I would highly recommend you seek a Service Titan consultant, not just Service Titan themselves. Hire somebody who's an expert in that and bring them in, and their marketing pro system and all that, the price book in there. Actually, I think you can connect the Profit Rhino to Service Titan and still use both. Pretty sure. You'll have to contact Profit Rhino to see. Because Profit Rhino is really your price book, right?
Yeah.
And good, better, best presentation to the client kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Really like that. So let's talk about that, because a lot of guys are out there time and materials crap. And so did you used to do that and switch to, sorry, did I just step on somebody?
I'll tell you where we started. When Brian and I started out in the field as Duncan Plumbing, we were time and material. And that was the service company that we had both came from previously. We both worked that together. And so we did the same. And then I ran in when I hired so Brian and I knew the prices off the top of our head. It was we had our routine, but it actually was with the first plumber we hired.
Right.
Starts calling over.
How much for this? Yeah.
How much for that? And I'm like, how do you not know this? I realized that the problem was with me and not wanting to get away. So I worked for a plumbing company that had been in business since 1934. So I'm using a lot of what I learned from them.
Yeah. Old school.
I learned real quick. I reached out to Profit Rhino, and we had to change everything quick. I'm not good with change, and I did not like the idea of getting away from, but I knew I had to, because as we were growing and hiring, you couldn't take phone calls and tell them how much.
Yeah. Every job would be a phone call, I'm sure, right? Or every other job. Yeah. So that had to be a gigantic undertaking, right? You got to come up with a price for everything that you do. So that had to be a little bit daunting of a task for you. You guys pushed through that. Talk about that a little bit.
And so that's what I tried for the first month or two. I thought I was going to write this price book myself. So I started doing my own research, which is not my forte. I'm a plumber. The only research I do is code books and plumbing products.
Right.
I started doing research on what everybody else was doing. And I stay in contact with the other plumbing companies. You know, a lot of us had worked at the same company together. And some of the plumbers were actually my helpers at one time. And I just thought, well, he can't know as much as I do. Started doing research through Google and came back around to what exactly the helper I have in mind that had his own plumbing company. He was with Profit Rhino. So it was a real smooth transition after that. After I started working with them, we just sat down and all I had to do was just kind of go through my numbers. How much are your plumbers making? What's sales tax in your area? And they just plugged in everything software and developed our prices.
I see. So they had like baseline prices, Michael?
They use a national average across the U.S.
I see.
So, and we're going to be a little bit, I don't know if cheaper is the word. We're a suburb. Yeah, our market is going to be different than what Dallas is.
Right. Sure.
So I had to look at that because I know this area better than Profit Rhino. They probably were going off of Dallas's prices, and I see. Hey, we have to come down. Our customers aren't used to that, or our competitors aren't charging that.
I see.
So it really was a smooth transition. Once I decided that I couldn't do it myself and I needed outside help and accepted outside help, it was a very smooth transition and probably the best move I've ever made in the business, besides making my wife and my brother come back to work for me.
Nice. He still likes you guys.
I have to have them.
So that's great advice for everybody out there who's not on flat rate pricing. And I didn't know that Profit Rhino. So they do it by like region or whatever. We have average pricing based on your zip code or something like that.
As far as the way it was explained to me is it was a national average. And then you kind of sit down with them and kind of tweak it and say, hey, this is, and it would just take a few. The price book is all over the place. It covers thousands and thousands of jobs.
Right.
We just go through and look at a few, like a basic water heater install, a basic drain cleaning, and a basic faucet. And I look at those things and say, that's too high or that's too low in our area. So with just a few items, they're able to plug in some numbers to lower our entire cost or raise our entire cost.
Wow.
It makes it simple for me to look at, what we should be charging and then still stay competitive.
That's awesome, man. How hard was it for your service techs to assimilate into using that product, that service?
Right, because Brian and Erica can speak on that. I think from my experience, when I came back to Duncan Plumbing about 2 years ago. I had left for 5 years to go to another company that we did all new construction, commercial construction. That's where I got some of that experience. So when I came back to Duncan Plumbing almost exactly 2 years ago, that's when I was introduced to the flat rate, jumping right into being out of service on top of getting into the flat rate system. It was actually a fairly easy transition.
Wow.
Binder that's 3 inches thick that you can literally find anything as far as what you're going to do for service and get a cost for. So maybe about a month for me to adjust to it, but it was pretty easy to understand once I got into it.
That's awesome. And it does give like a good, better, best scenario, like if they're going to replace some big ticket item? Like a water heater or something? Do you give options to the homeowner? Or?
The options, I mean, for a water heater, it's kind of simple. If it's leaking, it needs to be replaced.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something
I mean, the options are, so say if you have a leak under your sink where you can replace one drain fitting or the entire drain system. That way everything is good to go. So there are options. And that's, again, I think we mentioned it before. We always give options. It's not just the simple fix that will be correct, but there's options. If we see poor conditions on whatever we're looking at, we want to give multiple options. That way it's not going to last them a month. It'll last them a year, 2 years, or 5 years.
You've mentioned that good, better, best scenario. Some friends of ours own an HVAC company down the street. And I know exactly what you're talking about because it's what it is, good, better, best.
Right.
They use that, and it works well for them. Profit Rhino, we kind of have to dig a little bit for options. And then as experts in plumbing, we'll kind of say, hey, this is what I would do in my house.
There you go.
This is the more economical way to go about it. It's still right. It's still up to code. But this is better quality. But we don't have that good, better, best format in black and white.
I see.
Our friends at the HVAC company do.
Yeah, they definitely need it, right? Because you got a $10,000 system, a 15, and a 25, and which do you want, right?
Right.
And when it's a really big ticket like that, then you really want the homeowner to make the decision. And not feel like a salesperson or even your service techs. It takes your service techs away from being salespeople and saying, here's what the software says. And so it makes them feel better too. Everybody's a little bit more at ease there.
Yeah.
Erica, let me bring you back in there. So are you doing Google ads or Facebook ads or any kind of advertising, radio, TV, anything that's working for you out there?
Yeah, so when we started, we did a lot of billboards because we didn't have this location that we have. But even so, I mean, we did yellow pages way back.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember those. Yeah.
Phone books. Yeah, so that was the very first, was phone books. And it's hard to believe how fast it's changed.
That was the old Google.
And so we did that, and then we went to billboards. And then, as kind of Facebook and Google came along, we were one of the first plumbing companies to have a website.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, we did that early on, and it's changed. We've probably changed around our website complete overhauls like 4 times. So currently we've pulled back on our social because we found, like you said earlier, people are interested in seeing really what's going on, like what fun stuff. Like we took dogs to work, and Amanda took some pictures of the puppy and said that people want to see that. They don't want to see ads on.
Nope.
I mean,
I got a picture with a kangaroo.
Yeah, Brian.
A kangaroo.
A kangaroo in the shop.
Or just
what? Where'd the kangaroo come from?
Wild Kingdom for a while there. We had somebody bring by a kangaroo.
Snakes.
We had a customer who had a pig. So we had a picture of our guys with this giant pet pig.
Giant pet pig. Yeah. Wow, that's great.
And so
the kangaroo, what, an escapee from the zoo? What's with the kangaroo?
What was wild is before. So there's a lady. Is it a lady?
Creature teacher.
She's called the creature teacher. She's got exotic pets.
I see.
She's in the area, but I think. And I think she uses it. That's her business. She probably, I think, goes to elementary schools and
like a petting zoo kind of thing, or introduction animals or whatever.
Yeah.
What was crazy before I knew she lives down the street from me is that I saw on a social media app that a kangaroo was loose in Waxahachie. I had no idea about this, and I'm like, this. Is somebody? Am I drunk? I mean,
that's for real.
So
who spiked my coffee? Yeah, exactly.
A couple years later, the kangaroo's in our office. So.
That's hilarious. So what? You have a regular visit with the kangaroo now?
We don't have. She's not making a regular appearance.
I don't know how well you can see that.
Oh, that's cute as hell. A little baby kangaroo
with a diaper.
With a diaper on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So
that's fantastic.
Amanda heads up a lot of the marketing as far as the social media.
Oh, so you did bring that in-house and
we
start with the
social media in-house.
Good for you.
Doing most of the social in-house, and Sometimes our campaigns will focus on, we'll do some social boosts or whatever, but mostly it's this, we'll do some display and our location and word of mouth. We do have an outside marketing firm that we'll adjust from time to time. We do a lot of local Google business. I don't pay though. It's just our reviews.
Word of mouth and reviews.
Yeah, I've not paid Google ads in a very long time. And what I was always concerned with the quality of Google ads. Like, you get a lot of folks who are Googling and maybe not really great customers. And so from the get-go, I always questioned the quality of Google. But having our website rank naturally and holistically through our blogging, through our efforts, through things like this, with some cross-marketing and stuff, that's really where it's at. People on their own finding us, researching us, not paying for an ad or paying to play or whatever you call it, where I think we're trained. I can see who's advertising. And I honestly get a little frustrated. I was looking for a service provider yesterday, and I kept getting someone that wasn't a fit, but you could see it was an ad and they paid to come up. And I was like, I don't want that for something specific. So their algorithms aren't always 100%. So anyway, that's the current. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to change. Technology is ever changing and evolving. And so
it's wise, right? You build organically, you grow from within. So existing customers, and like you're saying, Google Maps. So it sounds like you're doing, and I saw you were making posts to your Google Maps or your Google business profile listing.
Yes.
Within Google Maps. Google Maps is gold. If you can get yourself into the top 3 for each one of your services, it'll vary by your town, but we have clients getting 40, 60, 100 calls a month just from the Google Maps listing.
That's where it's at. Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps. And then your website underneath that for your key services, the ones that you want to promote and get the most business from, which probably sounds like slab leaks, your gas pipe leaks, your drain clogs, and things like that, right? So, yeah, it's wiser to invest in the things that you have control of. Somewhat, Google has control of our maps and our organic listings, of course, but we're not paying to be in there yet. Yeah. It might come in the future. Who knows? Google's pretty greedy. Their search ads can get, super complicated, and you need a specialist in that. And even then, they're super competitive in plumbing. Yeah. All the home services, actually. So they're going to cost a fortune. You got to really stay on top of it. And it can get out of hand really, really quickly, actually. So I don't blame you there. And no radio or TV or anything like that locally?
No local TV. We've done some radio spots just with the local KBECs, the local station around Waxahachie. We have a couple. We actually had a recording done, and we've not done. We're not. I mean, there's how many vans do we have? 5.
5.
Yeah. So
6 with 5.
So we've got 5 vans out there.
Nice.
And
they're wrapped. Or some of them are, right?
No, all of them are. That's another, I mean, that's a big one. That's immediately the vans get wrapped. I mean, that's gold right there. I've had so many people call and say, I'm behind someone. I just got your number. That's like your rolling billboard.
I agree completely. Yeah. On the road and when you're parked at a neighbor's house, all the neighbors are saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. whoever, whatever, has hired so-and-so, Duncan Plumbing, to do the work here. So, that's one of the best things to do is wrap your trucks, I would say. Good for you guys. Any kind of crazy advertising you did in the past that just either took off like a rocket or fell to the ground like a dud?
Maybe not necessarily from the advertising standpoint. I mean, we have to when change happens, I'm gas and Michael's brake. So
good.
It was, as far as ads go, that was always kind of, what are we doing here? But I think when you ask what's worked great or not worked great, I would say some of the best moves we ever made, I will second that price book. That was a game changer.
Wow. See?
And not just, it's kind of that McDonald's factor. Like, what's great about McDonald's is I can go to McDonald's in the Czech Republic, and the fries are the same as McDonald's here in Waxahachie. I mean, they have better and different dipping sauce, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, so that's where the price book, everything can be procedurized across our guys. If they get a call and it takes one of our guys 2 hours, but it takes another one of our guys 30 minutes, somebody's not going to be charged 4 times the cost because he's slower or more meticulous or has to go to the supply house or whatever. So it lets us have the same price across the board so we can sort of standardize everything. And that helps us with sales figures and projections. And hey, it's really dry and hot and it's not going to rain all summer. So the ground's cracking. So we're going to get a lot of water leaks. So at our water leak average and see just numbers are good to have. So that was a good move. I would say taking the leap to hire people when it's sometimes scary or go or leave your job and come over here and kind of making the leap, I think was for all of us.
I think the trust when it's not family, somebody from the family that we hire is where it's hard because we're giving them our company basically representing us. So that's where I've had a lot of trouble with control is when we hire somebody, their last name is a Duncan, but they are representing our name and our business and our 100 that we've built up. That's been very difficult as far as growth for me.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest growth for everybody out there. Trusting people you don't know to come in and represent your brand. And now you have to train them. So you have training programs and standard procedures for certain things? Or
yeah, so in Texas, there's an apprentice program that it's on-the-job training, basically. We have a younger guy who actually went through a program through school.
Nice.
But the apprenticeship in Texas is basically 4 years it's been so long since I've done it, 4,000 hours as an apprentice, and you can apply to the state for a license. So 4,000, 8,000, 4,000 is a tradesman, 8,000 is a journeyman. And then once you become a journeyman plumber, which is about 4 years, when you become a journeyman plumber, you have to hold your journeyman license for 4 years to become a master plumber.
Nice.
So Mike is our master plumber, and I'm just a journeyman.
It's funny how you asked the question and we both thought completely different things. So for training here, we kind of learned the hard way.
Training our guys.
It works good to hire them as an apprentice and sort of have, or at least greener.
So they learned your way.
Yes. And then bring them up. And then Brian usually takes them for a month or two to learn the ropes, learn how everything goes. He's riding with them. He's kind of sitting back, doing the customer interface and training the employees.
I guess it's a little different because when we hire apprentices, that is a training program.
Yeah, that's kind of the training.
Because they are learning the trade. When it comes to us hiring a licensed plumber, that's where I kind of train them as far as our policies and procedures go. So I guess it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
Do you prefer that apprentice over that licensed plumber?
No.
No.
Oh no. You want that skill set. You don't want to have to teach them everything about plumbing.
There's a shortage on licensed plumbers right now.
There is.
They're just non-existent. It seems like, and they're not people who do have jobs are not looking for jobs because people are being paid very well where they're at, and they're not looking to go anywhere else.
And the housing crisis across America, we have that additional, we have so many, there's the Texas Board of Plumbing Examiners. We're so highly regulated.
Right.
On top of it, we can't just hire anyone. Like we've had a sign on the side of our building now hiring plumbers. And
since day one.
You just have people randomly come, I've done plumbing for my grandpa. Well, you have to have a plumbing license. You have to. And so it's just an extra layer of difficulty getting good quality plumbers. It's just like an extra layer of difficulty, I think, because not only we need plumbers, but they also need to be able to speak to people.
Right.
Be presentable. It helps to have all your teeth and be able to talk to.
No, yeah, absolutely. When you talk about Brian taking them out and into the field, I was thinking about that. You don't have to be just a good, skilled plumber. You also need to have good people skills and be able to communicate and understand you're representing the brand. Duncan Plumbing, that's who you're representing. Please do it with ultimate care. Take care of the customer like you would your mom or your grandma or whatever. So, yeah, it's super difficult. And the trades have been kind of ignored for maybe 2 or 3 decades. It's kind of criminal. I think in high school, they should have all the trades being available and taught, right?
So that's actually something that we sat down with the local high school, and we had sat down and we're looking at a program that we're going to get involved with that we all kind of felt drawn to get younger kids that are in the high school range to learn a trade. College isn't for everybody.
No.
It was beaten to my head when I was in high school that if you don't go to college, you won't have a career. And now the trades, there's a huge lack across the nation as far as licensed trades and
they can command their wage.
Exactly.
And we were essential. We actually had a record, our best quarter ever.
All right.
First, like that March, April, May in there when the pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. That was with a totally flat March.
Wow.
That quarter of the year was our best quarter ever because I think people were home and they were like, oh, I need this fix, I need that fix. This is going to blow over. And then we just continued to grow. But that's when I actually, one of my sons is in heating and air. He lives in Austin. Tried to get him to go to plumbing, but he ended up in heating and air. And I'm like, you know what? He went there to go to University of Texas and ended up leaving. And I'm like, you know what? I never thought I would have said this 10 years ago, but I think that's a great move. And it's
good money in the HVAC world.
Just like plumbing. I mean, the trades they're
good money all around. I agree.
All the way around. And I think
and you're keeping the world running, for God's sake. You know, what are we going to do without plumbers, electricians, roofers, framers, drywall, all of it?
One of my blogs, plumbing is the actual oldest profession, literally.
I like it. Yeah.
It's because sorry, I had to throw that in there. But it is because, I mean, even in the Roman times, the aqueducts, getting fresh water, I mean, you have to be able to have potable water or contaminants will kill the population. So it has been around since humans have been around. So
exactly. Bring in good water and take out the sewage line.
Exactly.
Yes. So been a problem since caveman days. Yes, right. I agree. They're probably digging little channels even back then, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, very cool. Well, I agree, and I hope to see, that's fantastic. So you're working with the school is it what you're going to teach there? Or?
No, I think
Texas just passed through the Texas Board of sort of like cosmetology, where they're going to be able to offer it, and you can you can actually come out a tradesman.
Oh,
They've
cool.
approved that in the state of Texas. They may do that in other states. I'm not familiar with their plumbing licensure and laws and stuff, but at least in Texas, that was just approved through the TSBPE. So Waxahachie trades, it's going to take several years, but they are, they were interested in Duncan coming in and talking to their careers department and all of that. So
awesome. Will they let the student go to a plumbing company and work at the company, or are they going to bring in plumbing classes?
I think ultimately the way that Texas wants to do it is sort of like cosmetology, where it's offered as a class, like wood shop or automotive or whatever. And I don't know how that works with school boards or getting that approved or whatever, but it was approved that they could come out after offering it through school. So I don't know if Waxahachie would offer something where they can go to. I'm not sure how that would work. It's really preliminary stages right now. We just went
development. Yeah. Maybe a little of both, a little in class and a little interning or something at an actual plumbing company
absolutely.
Or auto shop or whatever. They need to teach all the trades. You don't know what's going to tickle your fancy. Maybe you want to be a roofer. Who knows?
That's the program they have set up. They teach a general kind of a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electrical, a little bit of framing, and all that stuff. So, and that's where they kind of wanted us to be integrated into it as far as the plumbing goes. Maybe come in once a month or just a few times a semester to go over some plumbing stuff. Then they'll have an HVAC guy come in or a roofer come in, just kind of blend everything. Because right now, like she said, it's a preliminary thing to where they're just trying to introduce it to younger kids.
I like it.
They can kind of see if that's going to be what they can do after their high school career instead of going to college.
I like it. I like getting exposed to all of them too. You don't know what's going to tickle your fancy until you meet it head on, right?
Yeah.
And so, people will.
When I was growing up, being a plumber it was a dirty, nasty job. It was frowned upon. Go to college. So to be able to teach younger kids, it to me is what stands out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Taking your skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharing what you know. You put in a lot of time, and not only sharing it within your company, but turn it on the youth to, hey, we got a little
something way more important than plumbing just rolled in.
Nice, like the hat going too there.
He's our little.
Who we have here?
This is my sister's baby. We had a baby explosion, so Brian has a new baby as well. They're like
congrats.
Thank you.
So yeah, so
nice. Future CEO, plumber CEO of America.
We're lining it out and trying to figure out how not to just hand them an awesome business, but yeah.
Right? Future Duncan Plumbing CEO right there.
That's right. That's right. Hi.
In an electronic world.
Yeah.
Who knows what the heck will exist back then. Or not back then, but in the future. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Congrats for getting involved in that seems to be part of your community outreach and involvement and stuff. So, yeah, that's fantastic. That's the best way to grow a business, I think.
Yeah.
Any myths about plumbing that are out there you'd like to debunk and put it into?
I'm trying to think of anything right off. I can't think of anything off the top.
That's okay. I think we kind of just covered one, I guess, is that the trades are not a good place to work or whatever, or maybe there's not enough money. All that is false. It's a great, rewarding job. You're fixing somebody's problem every single day, several times a day.
I know people say that back to plumbing, you can't make money in plumbing. I know multiple plumbers who make $100,000 plus a year.
Oh yeah.
And that's
I agree completely. Yeah, Brian, without a doubt. We've got a lot of clients making very nice coins.
Yeah.
Very good 6-figure incomes.
Yes.
Running good businesses. Young guys with young families like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, it's an awesome way and super rewarding and a lot better than that corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of people, work for some Fortune 500 company, just get lost in the shuffle. And, at the end of the day, what skills do you have?
And it opens a lot of doors. Not only can you grow with a company and move up, but you can also, at that point, once you get to a certain point, you have the opportunity to open your own business.
Yeah.
Essentially what we did here at Duncan Plumbing, like Mike had said earlier, we worked for another plumbing company here in Waxahachie. He had ventured off to go do something. I left that company to go do something. Then he had started Duncan Plumbing. Him and Erica had started Duncan Plumbing. And then that's where I kind of gravitated towards getting back into plumbing because I had left for about a year or two. But anyways, the opportunity to not just work for somebody, but you opens the door to be able to work for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. If you have some entrepreneurial spirit in yourself and you're a young person, you can go learn a trade for 10, 15 years or whatever, or maybe less. And now you know it all, or you know a lot and enough to open up your biz, support your family, start hiring other people. And before you know it, you got a bunch of people working for you. You're responsible for, a lot of lives out there, a lot of livelihoods.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great feeling. We're a small little marketing company, but I always feel really good about the people we employ. Mm-hmm. People we help out. It's a good feeling to know you're affecting not just your own family's life, but other families as well. Yeah. And being your own bosses.
Plus.
Well, you're never your own boss, right? There's always people to answer to.
Yeah.
You got wives, you got customers, you got suppliers, you got employees, but it's still super rewarding. I've always had the bug since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. Actually, I knew I was going to run my own businesses since I was like 9.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what would you say is the most rewarding thing of running a business? And then we'll wrap it up. We've gone kind of long, but super great conversation. So thank you.
No problem.
What do you think is the most rewarding thing for you, Brian?
I think the satisfaction from the customer when they come with us with a problem, specifically when, hey, I've heard the story plenty of times. Hey, I've had 2-3 plumbers out over the past few years, and I've had this recurring situation, whether it be a faulty water heater. Tankless water heaters are so much more common than they were 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I think both me and Mike have really grown as far as how to deal with tankless water heaters. So when a customer calls, Compare it to a tankless water heater. Hey, I've had this issue. I keep getting this error code. I've had multiple plumbers come out. I've been referred to you guys through such and such, and we'll come out, be able to diagnose it and fix a problem that they've had for years.
Wow.
And that to me is rewarding because that shows, for one, our integrity, two, just how we approach things. It's not always the same as everybody else.
Right.
The gratitude that comes with being able to help somebody out who's had a recurring issue for years or even for months.
Yeah.
Just being able to have somebody happy, not always happy to see a plumber, not always happy to pay a plumber.
Right.
When
right.
you get something solved that they've been dealing with for years, that to me is very rewarding.
Yeah. And that's why you got 300 5-star reviews, because that's where your mojo is. That's what you care about.
Yeah.
So I agree. On the marketing side, we see the reviews of all our clients, of course. And those are my favorite ones to see is we've had 4 plumbers out here in the last whatever, and none of them could help. And it just led to more problems. Yep. But finally you came out. Yeah. And I couldn't, and now you've got them for life too. Talk about word of mouth, right? Those people. So yeah, I feel good just reading that. I'm not even the plumbing company that did it. I was like, all right, way to go. I feel good representing those companies, I guess, or helping those companies. If I saw different kinds of reviews, I'd be like, you guys are fired. I'm not working with you anymore. Right? Any resources? We'll close it up. Any resources you recommend to anybody out there? Websites, blogs, books, trade groups? I don't know.
I think that would be a Michael question.
Yeah, no worries.
Out. But I mean, no,
it's all good. It's all good. How about how do people reach you guys, Brian? So how do if they want to either hire Duncan Plumbing or maybe reach out to you guys, look for work within Duncan Plumbing, how do they reach you guys?
Through our website, info@duncanplumbing.com. Our local number, 972-937-0040, or just a simple Google search, Duncan Plumbing Solutions in Waxahachie, Texas.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, all those are very easy outlets. I think our website, you can actually request service work through our website if you can't get us on the phone.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And thanks for coming on the show. You guys were awesome. It was fun talking to 3 people instead of 1, getting the different viewpoints and stuff. So I appreciated that. Sorry we went long, and sorry to the audience. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to that. Thanks to our listeners for sharing your time with us today. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, subscribe to our podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Good luck out there and create a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast. To power up your home service business. For show notes, visit battleplanmarketing/podcast. If you enjoyed our show, please share it on social. Until next time.